As we hate to report on this first day of school, a second-grade teacher in court today accused of dozens of counts of child pornography. Thomas Hazouri Jr., son of the current city council president and former mayor Tommy Hazouri, spent last night in jail after his arrest Wednesday on 25 charges related to child sexual exploitation. Hazouri worked as a second-grade teacher and coach at Mayport Elementary for years before being reassigned following a police raid on his house. Now we're learning that in addition to hundreds of disturbing and illegal images, investigators believe Hazouri took photographs of children in his Mayport Elementary classroom, his own classroom. On Your Side's Ann Schindler reports tonight.
On a day when many parents were taking their kids back to school, a dark cloud hangs over one elementary teacher. Thomas Hazouri Jr., son of a legendary Jacksonville politician, served for years as a teacher and coach at Mayport Elementary. The school was notified in August that he was under investigation following a raid on his Jacksonville Beach home. According to the arrest affidavit, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office discovered multiple videos of children being sexually abused by adults. Wednesday, he was arrested on 25 counts of child porn, each one for a possession of at least 10 images or videos. Investigators also believe Hazouri used the private messaging app Kik to send non-explicit pictures of children that appear to have been taken in his elementary classroom.
We just need extra vigilance at places where kids gather.
Jay Howell, founder of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, said teachers are just one group that needs and typically receive extra scrutiny.
Those particular populations are real important because they work with kids.
In a statement released late today, Superintendent Dr. Diana Green called it both alarming and disappointing to learn that one of our teachers is alleged to have exploited children through such abhorrent activities. She said the district will cooperate with JSO. Ann Schindler, First Coast News, on Your Side.